It may seem far-fetched, but it's absolutely true. I made more than 2.25 Bitcoins over the course of just a couple months, totally for free. What's up guys, and welcome back to my channel where I make videos all about money. My name is Adam Nelson and I'm a software engineer. Today I'm going to be telling you how I made more than 2.25 Bitcoins without spending a dime on cryptocurrency. And yes, I'm a software engineer and I did use some of my coding skills in order to make a bit more Bitcoin, but the process I'm going to be telling you about today doesn't require any coding skills. Now this is my secret method that I've never heard anybody else talk about, something that I've developed personally along with a friend, and I've never heard anything about it online before. And I'm not going to lie to you, if you do know how to read and write code, you're probably going to have somewhat of an advantage when it comes to this process, especially in terms of mitigating some of the risk. However, this is by no means necessary, and you can definitely follow this process without even knowing how to code. And I know this pitch sounds sketchier than a car salesman's, but trust me, this is absolutely legitimate, and I've actually done this process, and I've actually made more than 2.25 Bitcoin. Also notice that I am absolutely not guaranteeing that this is going to work for you. Does it still sound too good to be true? Okay, here are the things I haven't told you yet. In order to do this process, you need a couple of things. The first thing is a computer, and with that computer you need a graphics card or a GPU, because this will involve some solo mining, but it won't be totally dependent on solo mining. So total transparency, there are some expenses when it comes to paying for electricity to be able to solo mine for a little bit to get started, but there's no buying cryptocurrency with money outright. The cost that I'm talking about here is probably $3 to $4 per week, and so this is pretty small when you consider that you may be able to get more than 2 Bitcoins, which at today's prices are worth around $40,000 each. And that's it. There are no other expenses that you have to pay out of pocket in order to follow this process. In this video, I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty. I'm going to cover my process at a high level, and if you'd like more details, just let me know in the comments below and I'll make a follow-up video. I'm willing to divulge every piece of information I have about this process. I just need to know that other people are actually interested in it before I take the time and effort to create other videos. So if you have any questions about anything I covered today, just let me know in the comments below. And you may be wondering to yourself,
well, Adam, if these secrets are so good, why are you sharing them on YouTube, on the internet, where anyone could watch it?
And the answer is, well, because anybody can watch it, and I want to grow this YouTube channel. And so in my mind, I'm kind of trading some of my knowledge and experience potentially and hopefully for more subscribers. So if you find any of this information useful, please consider hitting at least the like button. And if you want to see more videos about money and cryptocurrency and this process even, then consider hitting that subscribe button as well. That said, I am also somewhat hesitant to share this information online because it is my golden goose or my secret sauce, and I don't necessarily want everybody else knowing about it. However, I feel like the trade-off might be worth it if I can get some more subscribers by sharing this information. And if it doesn't, well, that's a risk I'm just gonna take, and maybe you get the secret for free. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna try to keep this video really short and high level, so let's get right into things. At a really high level, all I really did was use my graphics card to perform some solo mining. Now, I sold this hashing power to a service until I made enough Bitcoin to where I could use that Bitcoin and buy other people's hashing power. After I bought the other people's hashing power, I directed that towards a mining pool, and then I was paid out in a different altcoin. I then took that altcoin and transferred it back into Bitcoin, put it back into the process, and repeated. I would buy more hashing power directed to the mining pool to the exchanges, change out for Bitcoin, and repeat over and over again. And you may be thinking to yourself,
okay, Adam, I know what cloud mining is. How is any of this information new?
Well, it's absolutely not. But I did one more thing that other people don't do and don't talk about that I'm going to get into in just a moment. First though, if you're not planning on writing any code, then that's all you need to know, and you can probably replicate this process. With enough luck, maybe you can even make as much Bitcoin as I did. But where can you actually start doing something like this? For me personally, I use a service called NiceHash, and this allows you both to sell your hashing power to NiceHash, and they'll give you Bitcoin. And once you get enough Bitcoin, then you can place your order, and you can order other people's hashing power, and you can direct that hashing power to any third-party mining pool that you like, so long as the hashing algorithms line up. And I'll be including a link to NiceHash in the description below, so be sure to bookmark that link and use it whenever you want to go to NiceHash and learn more about how this process works. They also have a really great diagram on their website that shows exactly how cloud mining works, so let's take a look. On the right side of the diagram, you'll see the circle that says miner. That's you when you're first getting started. As you see, you're providing your hash power from your GPU or graphics card to NiceHash, which in turn pays you for your hashing power. You repeat the cycle until you get enough to be able to afford buying hashing power yourself. And so at this point, you can stop mining locally, you can just pay to have other people mine for you, and that eliminates the electricity costs that I was talking about before. At that time, when you buy hashing power, you become a buyer. You pay NiceHash your Bitcoin in order to rent hashing power, which you direct towards any mining pool you choose. That pool will pay you in altcoins. That just means something other than Bitcoin. This diagram doesn't show the altcoin to Bitcoin conversion process, but that'd be a step that you need to follow in order to buy again from NiceHash. In other words, you need to transfer your altcoins to an exchange for Bitcoin and then send that Bitcoin back to NiceHash and place another order. And finally, here's the part that you've all been waiting for, my secret sauce, or my little thing that makes this a little different and allows me to minimize the amount of risk in this entire process. In this diagram, you'll see that NiceHash sends hashing power to the mining pool of your choice. What you don't see is any sort of feedback loop from the pool back to NiceHash. Now, what I did was write code to examine the state of the pool, and based on that information, I could send feedback back to NiceHash to modify the rate at which I was consuming the Bitcoin in my initial order by dynamically increasing or decreasing the hash rate I was sending to the mining pool. By doing this, I could send huge amounts of hashing power when I thought we'd be lucky and finish multiple blocks in rapid succession. And I could slow it down when I predicted that a particular block would take relatively long to complete. I basically noticed a pattern in when there were lucky blocks and when there were unlucky blocks, and took advantage of that by writing custom pattern detection software. This optimization is what allowed me to make so much Bitcoin for $0 back in 2017 over the course of just a few months. Anyway, those are all the details I plan on sharing in this video. If you found any of that useful, please hit the like button below. Also, as I mentioned before, if you have any questions about any of these topics, just let me know in the comments below. And if you'd like to see any follow-up videos that I may make about this topic, please hit that subscribe button as well. I'm even willing to go through some of the code that I wrote and show you how I manage some of this risk. So if that's something that you'd be interested in, just let me know. And if you thought this entire video was way too complex for you and you have no idea what I'm talking about during this entire video, well, that's not a problem either. Just let me know in the comments and I'm happy to go through even the most basic of topics here. So if that's something that you'd like maybe a tutorial or walkthrough of NiceHash and how to get started with this process, just let me know that in the comments as well. Please don't be afraid to ask for some clarification on some of the simpler topics. Originally, I was going to create a whole series of these kinds of videos describing in detail every single step, but I figured I would gauge interest before I put all that time and effort into this. Anyway, thanks so much for sticking around to the very end. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and until next time.